Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the 210 show. We got the energy for you tonight in a pretty good pod. We're going to talk about some NFL, some college football, and some UFC fights. But before we do that, let's go ahead and hit them with these introductions.
All right, this is how should I say? Can't be angry, Joey, because that will entice me to say a curse word, which I am forbidden for doing for the next 3 weeks. So I'm quite certain that anybody that's actually listening to this pod is going to be taking bets on how long that's going to last. Especially around these clowns. I mean, these guys are going to entice me in every which way, shape, or form to actually drop some semblance of a cuss bomb. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's well, it could.
That's what I'm about to say. It's very pretentious of you, isn't it?
I'm about to say, with that type of
extremely
attitude, you're asking for
pretentious,
it, my friend.
Oh, yeah. It's more than that, because now I also have to give up red meat. I have to give up potato chips. I have to give up, let me see, candy. Yeah. My wife has me wrapped around her little finger, man. I gotta say. But I'm gonna do my best. So I hopefully, I don't, I'm able to still get my points across without dropping any cuss bombs. That's gonna, man, it's really gonna stink. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna really have to watch what I say.
I'll pray for you, my brother in Christ.
Yeah, that's after I entice you with some angry thoughts about Notre Dame, maybe. But
all right, see, this is what I'm talking about. They're gonna start throwing curveballs at me and try to make me say something that I don't need to say or want to say because there's penalties for if I say the wrong thing.
The hater with facts tries his best to be a good friend. That's all I can guarantee you. That's it.
Absolutely.
I see. I want to cuss already,
but good evening, everybody. Good evening, audience. Good evening, world. How about that?
That's
Good
right.
evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Let's try to be as judicious as I can here.
And I am Mr. Raider, and Joey, or less angry Joey. I'm gonna call you that all pod. We're real friends because we talk shit to your face and say good things about you behind your back. So it's all good.
Yes.
Let it marinate.
Oh no, I caught it. I caught it. All right.
All right. Well, so listen, man, we had a really good weekend of football, college and NFL, controversial at times too, especially that Bills game with the call. But who wants to take it first?
I mean, I'll take it. And since you want to go there, I guess we can start there first. So, of course, we had the divisional round this weekend, and it started with the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos pulled it out 33-30. And there were some controversial calls, but there was some pretty pathetic play coming from a former, or at least a reigning MVP, Josh Allen. He had 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. So he was so embarrassed by it that he decided to pull the red from Friday and start crying in the car. But that won't shield him from any criticism from this show, because we expected more from this young man, and he did not deliver, and it got his coach fired. So congratulations, Josh Allen. You're on your way to being the coach killer.
Can I throw in a shout out real quick? Let me throw a shout out. I want to shout out to Cam Newton. Cam Newton had an awesome take on First Take about Josh Allen and this scenario. He was like basically saying, hey, at what point or when are we going to say, Josh Allen, you missed that throw over there. You shouldn't have fumbled it this way. Like this game's on you, bro, and stop making excuses for him.
Yep.
And he's a great player, but he needs to be able to do things that elevate. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm poorly paraphrasing what he said, but I would encourage our listeners to go listen to what Cam Newton said about Josh Allen.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with him. And it's about time that people start holding him accountable. He is an MVP, and he needs to be held to that standard. The standard has been raised for him. I'm sorry.
So like I said, when you say accountable, what do you mean by that? Does he need to be fired?
No. What I mean is it's like the general discussion. Like most times when you talk about Josh Allen and how they fail to win a particular game, it's never predicated on his individual play. It's always predicated on who he has and who he doesn't have. or in comparison to who he's going against and who they have comparison to him.
Excuses always being made for him.
Yes, yes. And so, like, you've been in the league for 6 years at this point. I'm sorry, you know, you won the MVP over Lamar Jackson, which I on this show actually caped for because I understood it because they were using an argument about who he had versus what Lamar had during that season, and I understood it. But at the same time, there's another edge to that sword, and that is when it's your time to shine, you've got to deliver regardless of who you have, especially when they try to cape you up as a Superman. Well, Superman, do your damn job. And when you don't, you get the heat, period.
Right.
Exactly
I
don't know, man. I think that he did a lot of things right in this game. I mean, but yeah, those turnovers, they proved to be very, very costly. Let's not forget the fact that, once again, I guess I'm probably, ironically, having them play against the Broncos, I'm the Buffalo Bills apologist on this one.
Wow.
But I thought that he was solid for the most part. I mean, not only that, but remember the Broncos were up big.
Man.
They were up big, and he actually brought them back, and it went to overtime. And then, of course, they ended up with that pass that was intercepted from Brandon Cooks. That to be fair, looking at that play, I know that everybody's scrutinizing the heck out of that thing.
Not just that play.
Well, not just that play, but okay. So let's focus on that one though. It happened so fast. If you watched it in real time, I mean, it looked like it could have gone either way. Was Brandon Cooks down? If you put it in super slow-mo, well, it's arguable, because did he have really true possession of the game of the ball? I don't know. I don't like he didn't. I mean, if he did, then it wouldn't have been able to so easily be stripped out of his arms in a split second. Is my point.
Angry Joey, I completely disagree. And this is coming from a Lions fan. You know what happened in that play? That was the Calvin Johnson play.
Oh.
Because he left his feet, Brandon Cooks, he left his feet to catch the ball. Once that happens, you have to complete the process of the catch.
Well, no. Okay, hold on. I think we're agreeing here, hater. And the reason why I say that is because I think that it was an interception.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think that it was a pick, because, once again, it was such a bang, bang play, and once again, I go back to the fact that, if Brandon Cooks did actually have true possession of the ball, then he would have came down with it and not have it stripped away from him so quickly.
Yes.
And that's my point. I believe in my heart, and this is all bias aside, that it was a pick. And not only that, but let's not forget the fact that there was such a colossal hold on that play from the offensive line that, even if Brandon Cooks, if it would have gotten called, it would have been pulled back anyway. So, but that didn't happen, obviously, but
they didn't even throw the flag on that either.
They didn't even throw the flag on that, but there's pictures of it. I mean, the dude had his arm clear around his shoulder pads, both of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, once again, I'm trying to be a bit of a Josh Allen apologist for this because I don't think that the fault was entirely on him, and I don't think that he's asking to actually be called this so-called Superman. I just think that the dude is just snake bit. I almost if he wasn't playing for the Broncos, or if he wasn't playing against the Broncos, I would have actually been going for them. I really would have. I want to see him actually succeed. I really do. And not just because he played for Wyoming, but, just I just admire the dude.
Okay. So how many points did the Broncos get over his turnovers?
Oh, goodness.
Let me see. A good question.
I do not know off the top of my head. We know that the one that they did get was the one that killed him.
So if you give me a second, I'll give it to you. Hold on.
Sure. I'll wait. And I have another stat on the Texans as well that I'll say with that's kind of in the same line, but I'll wait for that. But I'll wait.
That one. We still got to talk about some of the other stuff that's upcoming too.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait till you get there.
Officially, it was actually directly off the turnovers, 7 points.
7 points.
Yeah.
And which, if you ask me, if we're going to be honest about it, the the Bills are very lucky that it was only 7 points.
Oh, wait, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Should have been 10.
Actually, it's 10. It's 10 points.
Yeah, because they
thinking
actually had
field goals down there.
the field goal in the last
Yep.
in overtime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Now,
it
10
was 10
points in a playoff game in that setting is huge. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It really is. And so I get what you're saying, less angry Joey. However, the man is getting paid the big bucks, and he's that dude, and he is one hell of a quarterback. Don't get it twisted. But
Mhm.
he cost his team in those crucial moments, and this is kind of what Cam alluded to, the game. And it's like you can't be running around like that if you're gonna run and be cursed with the ball and get stripped like that. Not once, but twice.
Twice.
2 fumbles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The picks, okay. You could the Brandon Cooks one, I don't even count that, to be honest with you. I just look at the other
Yeah.
ones. So turnovers matter in playoffs, man. Like Pat Mahomes, right? What is Pat Mahomes notoriously known for? He does not turn the ball over in the playoffs.
Conversely,
Most
CJ
like
Stroud.
98% of the time, right? Tom
Conversely,
Brady.
conversely, CJ Stroud. We'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute. But I'm saying, but Tom Brady, right? Very, very rarely threw. I mean, he had a couple bad games, but for the most part, his interceptions was low. His turnovers were low. So that's
Yes.
all we're saying, man. Is that yeah, he did some great things in that game, but he also did some bad things that cost his team the game. Just being honest. I'm just being honest.
And the apologist piece, like that part really irks me there, less than angry Joey. But all I gotta say is though, you said it wasn't on him. He's a quarterback, correct?
Well, okay. Let's put it. Let me rephrase. It's not solely upon him. I mean, I would say it's about 25% him and the rest of the team and coaching. I think that there were some really questionable calls in that game too. And hence that's why McDermott is riding the pine.
I partially agree on that piece of it, but understanding what the situation was going into the game, this is why I cannot absolve Josh Allen of blame here, because you knew you were going to a hostile environment for one. To be honest, you got lucky against the Jags because you shouldn't have got that touchdown because you were carried. Let's get that clear. Okay.
Good point.
And if it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence doing Trevor Lawrence things, you wouldn't have been in that position in the first place.
Well,
So-
and let's face it, you're absolutely right, and I would agree with you on that one because going into this game, or going into that game, the Jags versus the Bills,
Yeah.
I was really rooting for the Bills, to be honest with you, because I think that the Jags, they
Sounds like
had
you
a
got a side
better
piece.
chance. I think they're going to be a problem for a minute, but yeah.
I don't think he heard you. I don't think
No, I
he heard
heard
me
it. I
either.
heard it. I heard it. I mean, how many side pieces do you have anyway? By the way,
I only have one, man, or I had one, but you keep singing
keep
the
bringing it
Bills'
up.
praises, talking about you going to root from this. That sounds like a side piece to me, brother.
Hey, man. Yeah.
Okay, so let's put
Say
it
it
this
loud,
way.
say it proud.
There's players and teams that I like for certain reasons. Heck, I'll even say this.
That's a side piece.
I like Andy Reid. I really do. I think I like Mahomes. I mean, do I like Kansas City? Of course not. Why would I? I never will. I'll never root for them. I'm not going to root for any other team than the Broncos. But I do like certain people. I do like certain organizations, and I, just for an admiration perspective. But will I ever be a fan?
Hold on.
Absolutely.
You just said you were cheering for the Bills, like not only against the Jags as well as.
Well, I was cheering for the Bills because I thought that the Bills actually had a better chance of losing to the Broncos than the Jags. That's the only reason. Because the Broncos were already going to that game. But remember, the Jags beat the snot out of the Broncos just a few weeks prior to this game.
Hey, Hater, I think we're on the
And
threshold
it was in Denver.
I mean, this is quite peculiar here. I mean, you know what? I got to get a sounder for this because it seems like by the episode we're starting to get revealed here of side pieces, and we need to get. I need to get that sounder going. But anyway,
bro, you are totally missing my point. I mean, the only reason why I was actually going for once again, I will say it to you fools. The only reason why I would have been going
He's about to
going
cuss.
for the Bills is because I thought that they had a better chance of beating them than the Jags. That was it.
I thought
Okay.
Josh Allen was your boy because of Wyoming and stuff like that. That Wyoming connection.
Okay, once again, I like certain players. I mean, I think Josh Allen is a stand-up guy. He's not your typical douchebag that's like Tariq Hill or
right.
Kareem Hunt or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's no drama
Aaron
surrounding this
Rodgers.
guy.
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry?
Yeah, he's not Aaron Rodgers either.
Rodgers.
Yeah, he's not an Aaron Rodgers. He's not that one person that you love to hate.
I mean, punch him in his fucking face.
He plays with heart. I mean, how can you deny that?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason. Do I now? I mean, when Buffalo came to Denver, they were public enemy number one. I mean, it's pure and simple. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a Broncos fan. I bleed orange and blue. So yeah, I don't stoop
You
to
don't
your
gotta convince
level,
me, brother.
Mr. Raider. That I mean, as far as having so-called side piece, I mean, because I am a true
You
fan.
get pretty damn close.
I mean, look, you might not have a side piece, but you sure are whispering a lot of sweet nothings right now. You Andy Reid, my guy, really?
Oh no. Oh,
You got that to yourself.
Once again, I mean, Andy Reid, he has no drama about him. He's a great head coach. I mean, how can you not admire the man? He's fantastic. Let's just put it this way. Think of that one coach that you hate the most, but you would love to have them on your team or quarterback or whatever position. Here's a good one. Max Crosby.
Yeah.
He's a Raider of all people.
Yeah.
If he was on the Broncos, he would be a messiah. He would be a hero. But fact of the matter is,
he don't fit Denver, dog.
No, of course he doesn't. He would never work.
He don't.
But neither did Lyle Alzado, and that's why he ended up going to the Raiders. But while he was with the Broncos, I mean, he was a bad man.
Shout out to Lozado. I have his jersey.
So that's my point.
I don't know what that is.
If he was actually to take during the Nathaniel Hackett days, would I have loved to have Andy
I'm sorry,
Reid?
I threw up a little bit.
I know, right? Well, no, you should have been celebrating because I mean, as long as he was there, the Broncos sucked.
But the problem is the Raiders couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, it's
why you gotta do that, man? Why you gotta do that, bro?
I'm sorry,
man.
I'm sorry.
You're trying to get Joey to cuss, not me.
What I've loved to have had, would I have loved to have had Andy Reid as the head coach during that time? Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? I mean, he's a magnificent coach. He's a Hall of Famer. So when they signed Sean Payton, I was over the moon. But anyway, so I think it's possible to admire some of these players. I mean, in fact, here, I'll give you another one. Of all the players, and we talked about this before, of all the players that have ever played in the NFL, who is your favorite player? Can you think of one?
Peyton Manning is mine, I would say.
Yeah. Well, Barry Sanders.
Ed Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barry Sanders for sure.
Barry Sanders. Honestly, Marvin Harrison.
Okay. That's a good one. Calvin Johnson.
And yeah, of course, Calvin.
Yeah.
And and he doesn't get a lot of credit, but Larry Fitzgerald, dude. Like he was just a consummate professional,
Okay.
Sanders.
You guys are proving my point here.
Yeah.
Those guys are not on your teams, right? And
some of them
my
are, but
player of all time, the one guy that I love the most, and I mean, God rest his soul, is Dick Butkus. Yeah, I mean, he was just a god amongst men. I mean, he was just bigger than life. So just the way he played the game, he was so ferocious and so just nasty. I mean, I remember reading this Sports Illustrated article that, when they were actually interviewing him, as of course he's retired at this point, and the interviewer asked him, is there any one goal that you ever had that you left unfulfilled? Dick Butkus, as he was eating a piece of sushi of all things, if you can imagine Dick Butkus eating sushi, but he actually looked at the reporter and he says, yeah, very calmly, and he says, yeah, I wanted to hit a man so hard that his head came off. I mean,
wow, that's just savage.
He was a beast, man. But he was my favorite player of all time, and he was a Bear. What was I doing? Yeah, I wasn't rooting for him or anything like that, but you gotta love the guy, you know? That
Yeah,
kind of.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you being a Bronco fan and being like you don't have a rivalry with the Bears like that. You know what I mean? So that's a
yeah,
little bit easier to stomach. Now, me on the other hand, oh, there is no Viking, there is no Packer, and there is no Bear that I actually appreciate. None at all.
None at
Especially
all.
not like no. Like okay, like Walter Payton, he doesn't count because I wasn't really paying attention to football while he was
Oh,
playing.
you
So he
can't say
doesn't
that
count.
because Dick Buckus didn't either. Come on, dude. Yeah, I mean, for me anyway.
Okay.
How can you not love sweetness?
yeah,
Again,
man.
again, I don't count him. Like I guess okay, fine. I guess he'll be the special exception out of anybody in the NFC North. But as far as the rest of the Packers, psh, please. I mean, y'all heard how I was like last week about their demise against the Bears. But as far as the Vikings go, nah. Like they're not a rival to me, but like I mean, they don't mm. Like even though Randy Moss, right? Like he was dominating the league and stuff like that, but like that still doesn't like it's not enough to be where it was a rivalry for us. And of course, while he was playing, we were, shooting ourselves in the foot every Sunday. So
Okay, so let me ask you this one. And I know we've gone way off target, but it's safe to say that you hate this person, but you got to at least admire him. And I'm not talking Aaron Rodgers.
careful.
That's how I feel about Tom Brady.
I'm thinking Brett Favre.
Hell
Mm,
no.
nah.
Hell no. Oh
Why
no.
not? Why
Oh
not?
no. Oh no. Matter of fact, Brett Favre is the primary reason why I developed the hatred for the Packers. Like growing up, we didn't have there weren't a lot of football people around me. So like amongst my friends and stuff like that, we were just overall NFL fans or whatever. But I wasn't taught the hatred of for the Packers as being a Lions fan, right? The only reason why I couldn't stand them was quite honestly because of John Madden. John Madden would glaze Brett Favre all the time, no matter how many picks he threw or anything. It got on my nerves so much. And that was the primary reason why I hate the Packers the way I do. Is specifically because of Brett Favre.
Well,
Because he couldn't do no
funny you
wrong.
say that. Because I feel the same way about Mahomes with what's his name, Collinsworth.
Man.
Oh,
Man.
He could
Lord
he
have mercy,
pander
man.
anymore? It's ridiculous.
Woo.
So I feel you, bro. I feel you, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I get it.
Well, before we get off this subject, I just had to put it out here for the people. Josh Allen, for his playoff career, now has 29 touchdowns, which is great, but 6 interceptions and 4 lost fumbles, but 15 total fumbles in his
damn.
playoff career. So
15?
How many games
15.
has he been in? How many playoff games?
Pretty much.
15.
I was going to say pretty much every one in his career, right? I mean, he's been to the
Every
playoffs.
single playoff game he's fumbled?
No. No, it averages out that way, but there's only been, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of the 15 games he has not fumbled at all. But all the others he at least fumbled at least once.
So where do you think the Bills go from here? I mean, now that they've lost their head coach, what are they going to do?
Man, dude, they were just talking.
Think they're in a free fall. I mean, I think they got their tight end situation situated.
Something was fishy about that damn conference.
But man, they need wide receiver help big time. And defensive line, for goodness sake, they've got to get it. They've got to get their defensive line shored up.
Well, again, that kind of points to what Mr. Rader's saying here is like the owner is acting like he knows exactly what's going on, which clearly he doesn't. And he's backing up.
Is he
He's backing up Brandon Beane. Yeah, but he's backing up Brandon Beane, but he's like, have you not paid attention to his acquisitions? Like
Right.
the very things you just talked about, Eric Joy, you just mentioned the defensive line, right? What was their big acquisition this year? Joey Bosa. Or I'm sorry, Nick Bosa, right? Joey Bosa is the 49ers.
No,
so
Joey
Nick
Bosa. Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa? Okay, I had it right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joey Bosa, right? That was their big acquisition on the defensive line. I mean, he basically committed the penalty that sealed the fate for the playoff game, basically, with that roughing the passer penalty, which was absolutely stupid, right? And then and then the owner comes to the defense of the GM for the Keon Coleman acquisition. Really?
Well, I think that it's funny you bring that up because I think that, and that's where I was kind of going with this. That was one of the main reasons, at least what I read, was why McDermott actually got fired. It had nothing to do with, the coaching or the moves that he actually made. It was his displeasure with the GMs and their crew.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been reading. Was that McDermott, he was actually trying to make acquisitions and trades and moves and stuff like that, and that the GMs and some of the the people that were just over him, he just managed to piss off somehow. And and that kind of sealed his fate at the end of the season. Which, I mean, I dude, that's so messed up. I really do think that, because here you have a bunch of bureaucrats that are actually telling a football coach how to do his job. And I'm not into that.
I'm not either.
Okay, so I have mixed feelings about McDermott specifically, but I do have to touch this point though, right? If Keon Coleman, right, based on what the owner said, if Keon Coleman was not, it was the coaches that pushed for that acquisition. No one said that you had to trade with the Chiefs to do it. That is on the GM.
Well,
there was absolutely no reason for you to do that. None. And I think we talked about this before, but if you're an NFL team and you've been put out of the playoffs the last few postseasons by that same team, and they had the nerve to actually try to call you on draft day to make a trade, why are you picking up the phone? I don't understand that at all.
Well, it's not just that, Hater. Also, remember, they had the opportunity to get Jalen Waddle.
Right.
Miami was like, yo, we want a 2026 first rounder. And Bean was like, no, I'll give you a 2027 first rounder. Like, what's the freaking difference?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And he didn't do that. And so I watched that press conference that they did, man, and that was fishy, man. I was like, this isn't good here. And I have a hard time believing that Josh Allen is okay with homeboy getting fired too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's and I will say this, Angry Joey too. As far as Josh Allen as a human, I have no issue with at all. My criticism of him is just strictly for the talent that he has become and the standard that is raised based on that. That's all. But I also have an issue with McDermott too, with some of his coaching decisions, specifically on defense,
clock management,
multiple times. Yes,
and clock management.
Yeah, like you can't have the type of talent that Josh Allen is, and you're that head coach. You cannot squander the opportunities that you're given. And that's and Miss Red, I think you agree. We were on the same page here about how this postseason was a litmus test for this coaching staff because they've been there for so long and they had this pairing for so long. And it's like, okay, we gave you the out about Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that's fine. But you no longer have that. So what's your problem?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Lots of fallout from this game, though, boys. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it in upcoming matchups here. But what's the next game you got there, Hater?
Yeah. So the next game was, let's see, it was the Patriots and the Texans. Oh my God. Let's get the good out the way. All right. The Patriots defense came to play. They came and they did work. And they held the Texans to 16 points. And I like to nominate as a segment going forward, and we could use this for any sport that we choose to talk about. I like to nominate CJ Stroud for the ass player of the week. This brother.
Let's go.
20 of 47, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Unfortunately, he didn't have any fumbles, but I couldn't swear. I mean, he was playing so scared. I thought he was going to give up the ball too. But man, he was on his butt so much. Like, I mean, he played like a deer in headlights, seeing ghosts. You could throw up any negative connotation you can in regards to a quarterback play. He did it. It was ridiculous of how
All
terrible
right.
he was.
Okay, so
My
you're
God.
absolutely right. You're also right. You're so right. And I'm glad you segued into this. What is CJ Stroud, man? Okay, so here's some statistics that I actually found.
Mm.
His 2025 postseason, 2 TDs, 5 INTs, 59% completion, 51% quarterback rating.
Yes.
He is the number 1 quarterback ever with 5 INTs and 5 fumbles in one playoff. He is now 0-3 in the divisional round. Houston is now 0-7. They
Yes.
have not won anything. CJ Stroud, where did he just disappear? Because he came onto the scene looking so great. And now, he's a detriment to the team, if anything. That many picks and fumbles in just what, 2 games? My goodness, that's just horrible. So what does Houston do with him at this point? They're not going to cut him or anything like that, because he's great in the regular season, but what do they do with him?
Okay, so, well, first of all, let's say this. CJ Stroud was the best hope for Ohio State quarterbacks, and he just set them back right back to where they were before he got there. Let's start with that. So that's my Michigan plug for this. Additionally, he also looked like the same CJ Stroud that went up to Michigan his senior year before he came out, or I guess it'll be his junior year when he came out. But the last season that he had with Ohio State, and he looked exactly like that playing against us, because he looked rattled and he looked shaken and he looked like he didn't know how to play in the cold. That's what he looked like. So what's his future look like? Man, they need to have a come to Jesus meeting with him. I'll just be honest. He lost himself a lot of money. I think they just pick up his 5th-year option, but I would have to strongly consider bringing in a competent veteran to play behind him.
Well, at their draft pick, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. They're probably going to have to go off of the wire or trades or something like that. But I'm not sure if that's capital that they're going to be looking to give up.
Well, it won't take a lot of capital to do it. But again, this is not this draft. Absolutely not. There is no quarterback that you can get in the draft, especially where they're picking that would be like a threat to CJ Stroud. That's
Yeah. What are they
going
to be like? 26, 27, somewhere around in there.
Yeah. That's not good enough. But I'm saying free agency. I'm talking about, like, I don't know, the likes of, I don't know if I'll go this far, but Mac Jones. He will be competent enough to take over the offense if Stroud slips up.
Do you think that he's better than CJ?
I think he's. I won't say he's better, but I think he can execute the offense better in pressure situations more than CJ Stroud can. At least right now.
I would say that, and this is not to. This was always kind of the knock on CJ Stroud, was that he was not a cerebral. He was just more athletic. Whereas,
and he doesn't even run that much.
yeah, and that's the funny thing, right?
Yeah.
So once again, I'm not calling CJ stupid or anything like that, but it takes a certain mind to be able to pick up the game and to be able to see the field and to be able to dissect the defense. I'm not so sure when it comes down to it, that he's able to do it, especially in the playoffs. That's a lot of turnovers, man. That's a lot of bad decisions there,
dude. And it's not just the turnovers either. It's the way he looks when it happens.
Yeah,
It's like he gets so quickly down on himself and he doesn't know how to recover. And
agree. I've seen that too.
Yeah, and especially for like the type of coach that he has, with D'Amico Ryans, and he's definitely a player's coach. And the fact that his aura cannot get you to get your, what I'm saying, to have zero memory of what you just did to try to get yourself out of it. It's disturbing, to be honest. And
that's a very, very, very good take there, Hater. Because a person's attitude is infectious in one way or another.
Yes.
And I think you nailed it. Because watching how he actually carries himself, when things are bad, I mean, it really does affect his offensive line, his wide receivers. They're just like, well, why do I have to run as much of a route if he can't seem to figure out a way to get the ball out of his hand in time? And the offensive line is, why do I need to block? Blah blah blah. I mean, but yes, it's a mind game at that point. I think that's a very good take.
Yeah. And definitely, going up against going up against the Patriots, like they just smell blood, dude. It was like,
Yeah, yeah.
they saw his expressions like, all right, if we can't get to him as long as we touch him, like it's we've already won the day,
Well,
Um
and it apparently affected the defense too because they actually managed to put up 28 points on them.
well, but you know what? That's the biggest indictment out of all of this. And I want to give it to you, Mr. Raider, when I'm done here. The fact that after each of those turnovers, the Texans defense was strong enough to still prevent points off of those turnovers.
Right.
That
That's
was
what I
the
was gonna
crazy
say.
part. And it's just like, yo, you wasted like we could have been talking about a potential all-time defense if they could have made it all the way. Like that's what he squandered this year. And it's not sticky either. So it's just like, bro, these prime opportunities will come all the time. And it's just I don't know, man. The front office needs to have some very serious discussions. And I can't remember who said it, but they were saying like CJ Stroud better not be nowhere near no club this offseason. Your ass need to be in that playbook. Whoever that offensive coordinator is going to be, you need to be in that playbook from day one till game one. Period.
Wait. So let me understand this correctly. When you said that, is he party or something, or when you say club?
No one said that, but it's just no one has seen him like doing that. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes, especially, as young as he is, the it's let me say this. To me, he feels like a front runner. Like the success that he had off his rookie year, he parlayed that, to the following years after that. And because I remember like when Caleb Williams came after him and the game was over and he was trying to give pointers to Caleb Williams. Like speaking like he has arrived and he has everything all figured out. And he's done that a few times to a few quarterbacks and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you think you know it all? Like, you need to be humble. And now the NFL has humbled him, and it is going to be very interesting to see how he recovers from that.
Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty narcissistic. But anyway, I keep interrupting there, Mr. Raider. Give your piece, man.
Well, I think, in all honesty, man, y'all are being foolish. I really do.
Mm?
Because look, CJ Stroud, he's a young quarterback, and you don't just become great overnight. You got to go through these trials, these bumps, these errors. The same shit happened to Peyton Manning. How many times did he lose in the conference championship game? A lot to Brady. So, it just takes time to figure that stuff out, man. He's only been in the league for what, 3, 4 years now?
He just finished year 3.
Yeah. And so the regular season, he seems to have it figured out. The playoffs is a different animal. And that just comes with experience, repetition, going through the trials and tribulations. So, no, the Houston is not going to give up on him. Matter of fact, the coach, D'Amico, already said that CJ Stroud is their guy. And yes, he is, I would say, the sole reason why. But however, the defense allowed 0 points off those turnovers. So the defense did his job. It's just CJ's got to put it together mentally. So I agree with you, Hater. He should be spending all offseason in that book and just live and breathe it. But we don't know if he's already doing that or not. I don't know. But I think he's going to be fine. I really do.
Okay. So to be fair, I mean, you've got a great point. I wouldn't go so far as to call us foolish because we were kind of agreeing with you in a roundabout sort of way. I mean,
Yeah.
we think that he made some foolish decisions in the playoffs. I mean, and he needs to shore it up if they get back to the playoffs and if they manage to keep their defense intact, because that was the anchor for this team this whole year. And I'm going to go one step further. I was actually rooting. Once again, I was
Oh
actually
my Lord.
Yeah, I can't believe these words are fixing to escape my lips, but I was actually rooting for New England because, I mean, I think that
Well,
they had a better chance of actually beating New England than they did because remember last week we all said that Houston was going to take care of business.
Yeah.
Because that vaunted defense of theirs.
Yes.
And not only that, but the Broncos actually played Houston earlier this year, and it came down to an absolute nail biter. So things have changed now with Nix getting hurt, but at the same time, even if Nix was actually healthy, I think that they would have stood a better chance against New England than they would the Texans. I think I agree with you there, Mr. Raider. I think that CJ he's a good quarterback. He really is. I think he's just missing that one little piece, and I what that is, I don't know. I'm not a head coach. Well, experience, sure. Because you bring up Peyton Manning. Well, I'll do you one better. Look at John Elway's first year statistic.
Yeah.
He was a scrub. He was, in today's football, he would have probably been, cut from the team, because it was so bad.
Well, don't forget, Peyton Manning threw like 30 picks his rookie year.
That's what I'm talking about. He threw a ton of horrible passes. And then of course, you give him a little bit of time. I think that CJ Stroud could materialize into a good quarterback, but yeah, he's got to get it together, and I do like the Texans. I think they got a great organization. But I'm not exactly sure what the fix is for CJ. It was kind of hard to watch, just because I kind of wanted to root for the Texans, but of course, it was one of those ones. Which one is going to be playing my Broncos? Which one do I want to root for here? And I just kind of felt that the Texans would have had a better chance of beating the Broncos in the playoffs. But anyway,
okay, yeah. I got two things. One, I'm gonna push back on Mr. Raider real quick. My only point of contention for you in regards to what you said is look at CJ's performance against the Steelers, which wasn't that great either. And then he turns around and he gives this performance here. I think that part is what's concerning to me because I think he had 3 turnovers in the game against Pittsburgh, but the defense bailed him out, right? But then you turn around and you actually found a way to perform even worse than you did in the game right before the week before. So, and it's not like this is his first rodeo. Like you're comparing it to Peyton Manning his rookie year, which is that's fair. But he's been in the league for 3 years now. He's been in the playoffs for 3 consecutive years, and he's had at least in those 3 years he's won at least a wild card round at least. So, but he's getting progressively worse with each year. That's not the trajectory you should be having. At least with Peyton Manning, he was losing, but it wasn't because of his individual play. More times than not, it was because the defense wasn't playing well, especially in those playoffs against the Patriots and stuff like that. There was always some fishy stuff happening, So I that's why I kind of disagree, and I think it's a more caution of concern, if anything, if you're the Texans organization.
Those are fair points, but I understand what you mean. But as well as I do that there's really 2 seasons in the NFL. It's the regular season and then the playoff season, and that's when everybody's 0-0 and the pressure gets ratcheted up.
Right.
And I think this young man, the NFL is different, man. It's not college. It's not like you're playing a college national championship. I'm not saying there's no pressure there, but when you get into the playoffs in the NFL where you got these grown men that haven't won, they want to win, it's a lot. So just give him the experience. And then I think this conversation should be had again in, say, year 5 for him. And if he still has some of those repeat performances like that, then I think the question can be said, okay, who's that one player that always choked in the playoffs? Always, no matter what. Great regular season, but when it came to playoffs, he choked. Not Boomer Esiason. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, okay. We could use that. That's a good one. That's a good one. Great in the regular season because keep in mind, CJ Stroud broke Peyton Manning's rookie record, right? He had one hell of a rookie.
How about this one? Jim Kelly.
Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, actually, I like that
Oh man, that's
I
no.
know that's a cheap shot. I
That's
know
not. That's. Come on, man.
It's
that's a cheap
still a
shot. But
good
he never
point.
did win a ship. He was in the bowl for what,
Yeah,
4
but
years?
he made it to the Super Bowls, guys.
Yes, he
He
did.
won the AFC Championship for 4 consecutive years, bro.
But that's what we're talking about here, though, Hater. I mean, the fact that CJ is actually making it to the playoffs and just absolutely uh, doesn't get off the bus. Because even you yourself said that, even against Pittsburgh, he didn't look good at all. I mean, I actually laid out all those turnovers that he actually had. And then, of course, in this last game, he did even worse. So
Right. That's yeah.
he keeps doing that. I mean, that's the moniker you're going to get is Jim Kelly. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he needs to reach Super Bowl first before
Okay.
that. But I get where
I
you
know.
I agree. I get where you're going with that, and he's too talented to get to that point. But yes, so I would say just give him 2 more years. Let's see what happens. I would tell
Yeah.
you this though. I would take CJ Stroud over Trevor Lawrence any day. Trevor Lawrence just started figuring shit out the last 4 weeks of the season, 5 weeks of the season.
Okay,
Before
I'll
that,
give
he
you.
was garbage juice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk to me about that next year, about halfway through the season. Because that's a very decent take. I don't know how that's going to
Yeah.
shake out.
Yeah. I'll give you. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I'll just ask this one question and I'll leave it alone. Is it possible that CJ Stroud has been spoiled by the
Possible.
amount of by the wide receiver talent he had at Ohio State?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Could the fact that he had such overwhelming talent at that position that it did not require him to fully develop as a quarterback?
Well, keep in mind though, man, that he has Nico Collins there. Nico Collins is a
Yeah.
stud, dude.
Right, but
But
he
he
was
was
hurt this
injured,
right,
so he
but
had
he was hurt
nobody
this
else
game,
really
right,
to throw
yeah,
to.
yes. So that's what I mean. So it's like always having like, the Chris Olaves, the Garrett Wilsons, Marvin Harrison Jr., like, you know what I'm saying? Like just, stud on stud on stud on stud all the time. And then, it's not like that in the NFL. You're gonna have to overcome, some adversity where you don't have your best dudes. And then, and you thought he got over that because, Tank Dell, when he got hurt a couple of years ago, it looked like he helped, groom Nico Collins to be that dude. And now he was out of there, and then, what's his name? Jalen Hutchinson, I think his name is. Um, he tried to fill in the role, but it's just some of those passes are just so erratic. But anyway,
Well, not only that, but also losing Mixon. I mean, and that's
well,
another
yeah,
one. I mean, Mixon. He was a bell cow. Now there's
Yep.
a word that he might not even return to the NFL.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Damn.
But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on the young man, and hopefully he learns because there's some new defensive coaches coming into the division that he's gonna have to worry about. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But
I'm a fan.
yeah,
I'm a
huh?
fan of his. I'm a fan of CJ Stroud, even though he's Ohio State. I'm a fan. I think he's a good kid, man. All right. And it's an incredible responsibility. What is he, 23? So
Yes.
incredible responsibility to have all that money, be the face of a
23 years.
franchise.
Yeah, he's a boy. I
You know
mean,
what I
at the end
mean?
of the day, yeah. I
So
mean, these are
good kid, man.
boys playing a man's sport.
He's not
You
an
know,
Aaron Rodgers. Let's put it that way.
No, not at all. So
No.
I got lots of love for those guys. I really do. I mean, that's a lot of heart. But before we move on to the next game, we do have to talk New England. What do y'all think? I mean, are these guys for real?
Oh man.
Well, they're basically
Yeah.
getting a Disney Fast Pass, so I guess.
Right.
But
Did they though? They actually did beat. They just got through with Texans, and that was no small win. I mean, that was
no.
and they beat them well.
Yeah,
Don't do
no.
it.
Let me just real quick. Now, some of the number one credit to Stephon Diggs and Kayshon Boutte. Some of those they were making some strong catches against the Texans secondary, which is no joke. So shout out to them and shout out to Drake May because he was putting them in there. He was throwing some dots in there, and so I will give them that credit. I only mentioned the fast pass because of what happened to Bo Nix. That's the only reason why I said that.
Let me ask you this one. We're not talking about that right now. But Drake May, do you think that he's the forefront runner for MVP?
No.
Who do you think is?
It's Matt Stafford.
I don't know if I agree with you on that one, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. My money right now is on Drake May.
I mean, that's fine. It's not unanimous. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be probably like I don't know how many votes you get, but it's like I'm pretty like 50-47 or something like that. It's going to be close, but I think Stafford overcomes it.
And God strike me for saying this, but because I can't stand the Patriots, but man, I mean, you don't get to where they are by being mediocre.
No, you don't.
So, I mean, and now here they are against a depleted Broncos offense, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but I don't, Drake May, I mean, I think he's for real. I mean, this kid, he is the heir apparent of Tom Brady. He really is.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm not saying he is Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. Tom Brady is still the GOAT, but I mean,
no.
I think he's very, very good.
See, Angry Joey, you're going too far, dude. But Raider, take care of this, please. Please, Mr. Raider. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Tom Brady's not the GOAT. In my mind, Joe Montana is. That's the GOAT. Man, I'm just too much to go in on that there. Go ahead, man.
I
mean, where to start?
Yeah, but Drake May has a nice start. Okay, he's showing the growth, and to be honest, he is walking the path that Mac Jones actually blazed for him. And what I mean by that is, it took the let's call it for what it is, the of Bill Belichick in his last years with the Patriots, and being utterly stupid with his coaching staff that totally ruined Mac Jones, that gave them the path to get to Drake May. And they actually learned from those mistakes, and they actually put Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator, and it is showing, and is reaping the dividends that Mac Jones should have had, to be honest. But regardless, Mike Vrabel as a coach is awesome. He's I have nothing but respect for him, and he's building the team just enough where Drake May doesn't necessarily have to do it all the time, but is making himself available to be able to do those heroics when it's needed, and it doesn't have to do it all the time. So I'll give him credit for that, but I'm not gonna go gadget this thing and just and think he's about to fill the shoes of Tom Brady. That's just disrespectful.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, I would still say that Matthew Stafford is the MVP. His stats are ridiculous as well. But if he loses, right, and let's say and Drake May advances, then you could make the case, man. You could make the case.
Yeah. It's a legit case. I just don't think it's strong enough to overcome Matt Stafford, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me about Matt Stafford is that at times he has a tendency to get a little bit inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Atlanta game really kind of struck a chord with me. Just how he, I mean, he had that magical game against Seattle, where he threw 1,000 yards, and then he goes into and then they come home and they go against Atlanta. And
that was a road game. That was a road game in Atlanta.
The game was in LA, dude.
No, it wasn't. No,
I'm pretty sure it was, bro.
No. It was, because it was a Monday night game. It was a Monday night game. Yeah, it was a Monday night game at Atlanta. So,
all right. Well, maybe I'm mistaken. But either way, the fact that they actually lost to Atlanta the way they did, that was curious to me. So Matthew Stafford, he has those moments of absolute brilliance, and then he just walks off a cliff next. So
those moments do happen. I agree with you. That was a hiccup in the overall resume, but I still think, especially given the division that they were in, like between Seattle, the Niners, and themselves, like the fact that there was no room for error, and the only reason why they weren't in contention for the number 1 seed was because of basically a punt return from the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, it's you're gonna have hiccup games, and even Drake Mays had a few. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna let that moment to completely ruin a stellar year for the most part from Stafford, though.
Well, if we're actually comparing teams, I mean, I would definitely say that LA is actually a better team than New England. From top to bottom. But as far as quarterback or MVP decisions, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you guys in both ways, but if it was my vote, I'd say Drake May, just because it seems like he's actually accomplished more with less.
I mean, I don't disagree, but again, I just feel like there wasn't a lot asked of him, and I think the schedule matters too, and I think that's what puts it over the top for me, is that again, the conference schedule alone was far more daunting than what the Patriots had to endure.
Agree. And here I am. I know that I said that I wasn't going to cuss, and I feel dangerously close to doing so right now. But I can't believe that I'm actually, campaigning for the Patriots on this in any which way, shape, or form. I mean, I want to see their demise, especially this week. But once again, it kind of goes back to the older argument. I mean, do you admire the player? Do you admire the team? Do you admire the concept? That kind of stuff. But it goes no further past admiration.
Yeah.
And the fact that New England actually did pull off that win, the way they did against a very vaunted Houston defense. I mean, I thought that spoke volumes. That's scary. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine though? I mean, oh goodness gracious, the people that we work with, some of the people that we talk to that are in our league, if New England actually hosted another Lombardi.
Hey,
sick.
Sympathetic Joey. Let's stop this now. Okay. We've given enough flowers to the New England Patriots for what they've done so far, but let's not take this next step that you're trying to take, please. Let's not do that.
Well, basically my point is that you guys need to be Bronco fans this week.
Never.
No, I'm sorry. First of all, I'm not putting my hopes. I'm not putting my hopes on Jarrett Stidham. I'm sorry.
All right. And if you can go for the Cowboys over the Raiders, then no.
Oh, I'm rubbing off on you. Man, you just restrained from an F-bomb. Okay.
Well, I'm not.
We're just trying to be sympathetic to your situation, okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get it twisted now. Because you keep messing around, you better get an FU Joey, bro.
Oh no, bring it on. I mean, that just makes my day shine. I mean, that's awesome. Like white noise.